Let's talk about the Dan Campbell Introductory press conference, shall we? Thank you for liking, for commenting, and subscribing to the channel. Yo, we did it. We hit 1,000 subs yesterday. That's incredible. Actually, technically today at like 2 a.m., but who's counting? Guys, girls, thank you. You have brought me there. Sure, yeah, I sit here and I talk about the Lions, but without you, it would just be me talking to an empty wall, and that would not be great because my wife would think you're going insane. And maybe I am. Maybe I am just in general. I don't know. But seriously, thank you. You are making this what it is. You're putting the fire in my bones, one could say. Weird, but... So let's break down this Dan Campbell press conference, shall we? It was really something. I'm not going to talk about Sheila, and I'm not going to talk about Wood, because watching them, I don't care. They're always asked these stupid questions that they're not going to give you the real answer on. You think that they're going to get out there and talk about mending the relationship with Calvin Johnson? No. You think they're going to get out there and talk about Matt Campbell and what college coaches they looked at? No. They're not. And if they did, I would be shocked. So I don't care. Let's get into the Dan Campbell conference. Just off the bat, his introduction. My goodness. Do I love this guy? Now listen, only time will tell. That's the way it goes. But let me tell you this much. I support him, and I hope you do too, because he talked so much about the identity of this Lions team. He talked about the identity of our city. His opening words were, "Put me in front of Sheila and Wood. I want the job." He said, "I know this city. It is a special city. These are special people. I know the community, and I want to give to Detroit what they deserve." He talked all about the vision and the mentality of the team, and it's the fact that he really talked about the identity of Detroit, that Detroit has been kicked in the teeth. That the city of Detroit has gone through so much that people outside of the city don't understand. People outside of you sitting in your home right now don't understand. He went into the fact that Detroit has had it tough. However, the city of Detroit, the people of Detroit have gotten back up. They've stood on their toes and they said, "We're never going to stop fighting." He said that will be the identity of the Detroit Lions. That's what I want it to reflect. He talked all about getting knocked down, having blood pouring out of us, and saying no. Getting up, biting the kneecap of the enemy, getting up, punching them. And if we get knocked down again, what's going to happen? We will just get right back up. He said that is the vision, that is the identity, that is the culture that he wants to see built for the Detroit Lions in this new era. And let me tell you something. Boy, do I love that. I feel like I'm in a Mel Gibson movie, and I'm going to paint my face blue, and I'm going to go nuts. Just listening to him talk about our city, talk about this team, talk about what he wants to see happen, I was like, my man, you trying to make me cry? Because this feels like it's the end of Old Yeller, and I'm just like, here we go. Here come the tears. Thanks, Disney. The way he spoke just amped me up, and it made me so supportive. And sure, there's a lot of questions that surround it, and only time will tell. But you know what? I said, basically, it's my job as a fan to fully back you. Not to be dumb, not to turn a blind eye to situations or mistakes, but to look and say, I support you. And I do. I support him, and I hope you do too. My guy is humble. Dan Campbell, you can just feel the energy of humility radiating off of him. The way he talked about Sean Payton. The way he talked about all the people in his life that have gotten him to where he is, but really discussing Sean Payton and what he's learned under him and having Sean Payton take a chance on him. The way that he talked about him, you could just feel the humility in him. And I love that. He's a man of character that you could tell. And you can also see he's a player's coach. Like the way he speaks, the way he amps people up, it's very much this characteristic of, I'm here for you. And as somebody who's competitive, as somebody who's been coached in multiple sports and growing up, that's the type of coach that I want to fight for. As a fan, I'm like, let's go. Some people take these jobs just to build their resume. But when I listened to Dan Campbell, I didn't hear somebody who's just trying to pad a resume. I heard and listened and saw a dude talk about the fact that I want the city of Detroit to have a championship caliber team. I want to put this city back on the map. I don't want people just making fun of this city, making it a laughing stock. It's not just a joke. This is going to be a fighting team, and we're going to rise to the top. Man, that's huge. He knows the community. He knows the city. He played for it. He understands the organization. And that's another part. He even talked about the dysfunction at the top of the line. He said if there's dysfunction at the top, it's going to be like a poison and root its way all the way to the bottom. How can you have players and coaches and all these guys at the bottom finding success if there's dysfunction at the top? He just expressed the importance of the functionality of the top, of leadership, of the organization, of ownership, which will flow all the way down. All I know is I'm amped. The way that he talked about Brad Holmes, the way he talked about their compatibility, their vision for the team and the way that they want to go about, whether it's hiring a coaching staff, evaluating players, choosing the right roster, maybe not the best players, but the right players. His words, I so appreciate that. I appreciate the fact that it's not like two guys that are buddy-buddy, like, oh yeah, this is the way we're going to do it. It's this mentality of we are going to collaborate and we are going to work together to create the right environment, the right team, and build a winning culture. It already just feels so different than Bob Quinn, Matt Patricia. It feels so different than anything I've really seen here. Lastly, just some closing thoughts was regarding the questions he fielded. First and foremost, he talked about the fact that he has already interviewed 4 coordinators on each side of the ball. He even mentioned Aaron Glenn and was like, yeah, what I like about him is he's just so transparent, so genuine. He was like, yeah, of course I talked to Aaron Glenn. He's like, we worked together in New Orleans, so we have that rapport. So I brought up the position to him and just asked him about it. He didn't get into it. He didn't go in depth, but he made mention of, we've talked. He also answered a question basically talking about our offense versus our defense. And he was like, yeah, there's a lot of pieces offensively that I'm hyped about, that I'm excited about. He said, more than the defense, let's be honest. And I'm like, my guy, he's not shying away from anything. And lastly, the most important one on the docket for me was somebody was going to bring up Stafford. It had to happen. Somebody was inevitably going to just toss Stafford's name out there. And what I liked was the way he basically brought up, he said, listen, I'm going to be going over that this weekend. Holmes and I, we're going to sit down. We're going to talk about it. He brought up a few things. He said, Stafford is a stud. He's tough. He's talented. And he wants to win. But something that I appreciate both about Holmes and about Campbell now is this, nobody is escaping the evaluation. Nobody is getting through this without actually being evaluated and saying, are you the right piece for Detroit? Are you the right piece for the Lions? Because he brought it up earlier in the conference. He said there's a difference between having the best players and having the right players. And I want to have the right players. Stafford is phenomenal. Stafford is. Whether you like him or not, he is an excellent quarterback. But is he the right quarterback for Detroit? Just a question we got to ask, and that's obviously something that they are going to be asking. So that wraps up my initial reaction to the entire press conference. All I can say is I'm hyped. I support him. I support him fully because you know what? It's easy as a Detroit Lions fan to just shout out, oh, same old situation. Here we go. How long until they screw up? 6-year contract. He'll be here for 3. It's easy to be negative in life. It's so easy to be negative. And you know what? That's not me. That's not who I want to be. That's not who I'm ever going to be. I am a positive individual because I believe that speaking words of life into the world will bring life. Now, does that mean you're all of a sudden going to be a winning team? No. What I'm saying is if I can't positively support Campbell and Holmes and whoever our OC or a DC or whoever comes in here, if I can't positively support them, I don't have a right. I don't have a right to sit there and say garbage and then to be angry when we lose. So I think that's huge as a fan. Not to be dumb, not to be blinded by hype, but to say, you know what, I'm going to choose to support you, especially through year 1. I want Campbell to succeed. What did you think about the press conference? How did you feel listening to our new head coach for the first time? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I look forward to reading it and discussing it with you. And as always, I will catch you next time on Let's Talk Lions.